Does it validate some of the work that you and the team have been doing? Do you think the team and you understand what you need to make this car better?
Does what validate it?
The result, the fact that it's been a better result this weekend, is that a result of work that's been done, or is it track specific?
No, I think from my side, I think I've made some adjustments to my approach, and definitely have, as I said, been in a better place, particularly as we've had a break. So definitely been a lot calmer, I would say, through this weekend.
What is happening with Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari? How is it possible that the 7-time world champion ends 7th in classification while his partner is ahead? Today we are going to unravel the whole truth behind Zandvoort disaster and SF25. Hamilton arrived at the 2025 Netherlands Grand Prix with great expectations, after a start of the season that promised a lot, but Zandvoort quickly became a nightmare for him. The classification of Saturday, which ended the 7-time world champion in the 7th position, left a feeling of confusion not only for him, but for the entire Ferrari team. The morning before classification, free training sessions have already begun to leave worrying signs. During the first practice, Hamilton lost control of his car in Curve 3, which culminated in a spin that showed that the SF25 was not working as expected. Despite his ability and experience, the car did not respond with the precision to which Hamilton was accustomed, something that left him frustrated, but the worst came later, during the second session. At the exit of Curve 9, he lost control again and touched the grass, which resulted in another spin. This incident was not just a driving error. It was the symptom of a deeper technical problem related to the stability and balance of the Ferrari. During Saturday's classification, Hamilton was in a constant fight against a car that did not allow him to extract the performance he needed. Although 7th position does not seem to be an absolute disaster, considering the circumstances, it is a reflection of a constant struggle throughout the weekend. While his teammate Charles Leclerc achieved the 6th place, the difference in the classification not only revealed a difference in performance between the two pilots, but a considerable technical discrepancy that marked a pattern this season. Throughout the year, Leclerc seemed to have a better adaptation to SF25, managing to find a consistent balance and performance, while Hamilton failed to establish that same connection with the car. The problem with the SF25 became more evident in Zandvoort due to the characteristics of the circuit, a layout that demands a car with a precise balance and adaptation to long and high-load curves. In that sense, the telemetry data showed that Ferrari, and in particular Hamilton, fought in the middle sector of the circuit, where the curves of broad radio exposed the lack of stability of the car. The difference between the two Ferrari pilots, although apparently small, reflected a clear pattern. Hamilton not only faced the typical difficulties of adapting a pilot who has just changed equipment, but also found a car that, by design and technical problems, was not up to their expectations. In summary, what happened in the Zandvoort classification was not only a bad day for Hamilton, but the result of several factors in its first season with Ferrari. Trumps in training, the difference with Leclerc in the classification, and the structural problems of the car showed that the SF25 was not up to the demands of a pilot such as Hamilton. The key to the problems of SF25 lies in its extremely low configuration. Ferrari has opted for a suspension and aerodynamic system that allow the car to be as close as possible to the asphalt. This translates into a greater aerodynamic load in rapid straight lines and curves, which should provide a better circuit performance where the soil effect is key. However, this design has a price: the wear of the wooden panel at the bottom of the car, which is regulated by the FIA. This panel is wearing up with the use, and according to the measurements, the SF25 has systematically exceeded the permitted wear limit of 1 millimeter per race, which has forced Ferrari to artificially raise the height of the car. The impact of this technical correction is devastating for general performance. By raising the car, Ferrari sacrifices a significant part of the aerodynamic load that was the main objective of its design. This negatively affects the behavior of the car in rapid curves, a critical aspect in circuits such as Zandvoort, where long and high radius curves demand stability and precision. Instead of having a car stuck to the ground, the SF25 begins to float, which causes the pilot to lose confidence in driving, especially in high-pressure conditions such as classification. This sacrifice of aerodynamic load on the rear axle generates a general imbalance in the car. The lack of adhesion in the rear train makes the car more prone to get out of control, which translates into stability problems at the entrance and exit of the curves. To this is added the loss of mechanical adhesion, which makes the SF25 more difficult to control in sectors such as the Zandvoort medium, where the curves require that the car have precise and balanced behavior. In addition to technical problems, SF25 configuration also affects performance in terms of consistent return times. The need to raise the car to avoid sanctions for the wear of the panels has turned SF25 into an unpredictable car. This situation generates a significant gap in the pilot's ability to maximize the potential of the car, especially in a circuit as demanding as Zandvoort. Compared to Leclerc, who has managed to better adapt to the peculiarities of the SF25, Hamilton continues to seek the ideal configuration that allows him to extract the maximum performance. The car design, with its inherent limitations, makes it much more difficult for Hamilton to adapt and, as a result, end up losing confidence in the car as the season progresses. The problem is not just a specific design failure. The structural problems of the SF25 do not seem to have a quick solution. Ferrari faces a season full of technical and tactical commitments, and efforts to solve car balance problems may require more than simple aerodynamic updates. For Hamilton, each classification session is a reminder that it is fighting a car that does not adapt to its piloting style and has structural limitations that cannot be corrected quickly. In this sense, the SF25 has put Ferrari in a complicated position, where expectations not only fall on the performance of the car, but on the capacity of the pilots to deal with their inherent defects. In Zandvoort, beyond the bad performance in classification, Hamilton began to show signs of internal frustration. The differences with Leclerc, which seems to have a better connection with the car, exacerbate even more the pressure Hamilton feels. For a pilot like him, always in search of perfection, the fact of being struggling to find the appropriate balance with a car that does not respond to their expectations is a constant psychological battle. This situation not only affects his confidence in the car, but also raises doubts about his ability to be competitive worldwide in his new stage with Ferrari. But the psychological impact does not end in the circuits. Ferrari's expectations of the press and fans constantly accumulate on their shoulders. As a world champion of 7 titles, Hamilton is used to being at the top, and any result below the standards imposed on him can feel like a personal defeat. The pressure of having to justify its place in Ferrari, a team that has historically struggled to find stability in its alignments and strategies, only adds one more layer to its emotional load. As for the future, Hamilton's situation is increasingly at risk of becoming a battle between perseverance and resignation. Ferrari, like any other Formula One team, has a high demand threshold for its pilots. And although the name Hamilton has a huge weight in the paddock, the reality is that the short-term results are those that define the team's path. At this point of the season, the prospects for the fight for the championship seem to fade, and if the technical problems persist, Hamilton could be faced with difficult decisions about his future with Ferrari. Time will be crucial. As the most demanding circuits are coming, the adaptation of the SF25 and the evolution of the car will become even more determinants. Ferrari must make decisions about whether to continue investing in improving the car to adjust to Hamilton's needs, or if adjusting its strategic approach, perhaps with a pilot that can take better advantage of the characteristics of the SF25. If the difficulties persist, Hamilton could be found at a crossroads, having to reconsider his future in Ferrari or even in Formula One. This situation can also have implications for your legacy. Although Hamilton has already achieved a lot in his career, his passage through Ferrari is marked by a feeling of incompleteness, as if he had not achieved the level of success that was expected. The desire to leave his mark on one of the most prestigious teams in history could become a source of frustration if he fails to turn the current struggle into victories. This could question his role in the team and in the future of Ferrari, which will need to make long-term strategic decisions. In short, the psychological impact of Hamilton's situation with Ferrari is deep. Frustration and uncertainty are now their constant companions, and their future in the team will depend not only on the adjustments that Ferrari makes in the car, but also on their ability to maintain motivation and confidence despite the challenges. Only time will say if Hamilton can overcome these obstacles or if this stage in Ferrari will mark a drastic turn in his career. It is evident that we are facing a season of enormous challenges for the Italian team, and for Hamilton, this could be a defining year. If the car problems persist, the option to look for alternatives could be closer than we imagine. The future of the 7-time world champion could be at stake, and that is something that not only fans but Hamilton himself and his team will have to seriously consider. And what do you think? Do you think Hamilton can adapt to SF25 and get good results with Ferrari? Or are we seeing the principle of an anticipated end for this relationship? Will Ferrari be able to recover his competitiveness, or will they need a more radical change to save the season? Leave me your thoughts in the comments.